Hello, it's Margie coming at you from Ontario, Canada. Just wanted to touch base. I haven't talked to anybody for a long time, and I decided the new year has begun. It's January the 12th. It's 3:15. I usually like to do my Divine Mercy Chaplet at this time, and I should be doing it during the 3 o'clock holy hour. But I wanted to start telling my story and begin my new year with uh, reaching out and describing my situation, my reason for my reasons for taking such a desperate step such as this. Um, Mostly, it's because I need a document of what it's like to be a person such as myself in a Canadian environment that we live. It's not a Canadian environment. I don't know what kind of environment this country has adopted, but it's certainly not in any way, shape, or form a Canadian one. It is an environment that has been dictated to us, and I suspect other countries within the world, especially the more developed countries, the ones who have had intergenerational uh, episodes of freedom, relative peace and quiet and freedom and privilege. That's what the Western society, for the most part, has been enjoying for the last, well, through the course of my lifetime. Yes, we've had some trials, we've had some financial issues that have been catastrophic, and you know, but largely, comparatively speaking, as infant countries in a from a developed sense, from a modern sense, um, we're ill prepared for whatever is coming. Um, a lot of people understand that this world is not making a lot of sense, particularly our young people. And there is something underfoot, something inappropriate happening. Uh, the minority ideology that is almost toxic seems to be the order of the day. The idea that all people are equal despite their biology, but despite the circumstances that they live, is being removed from even Judeo Christian societies. And when I say Judeo Christian, I don't mean to offend. What I'm talking about is a society that has always operated on an understanding that the world is best served by individual freedoms. The world is best served by responsibility of those who have been privileged to support and assist those who have not been, found themselves in a privileged environment. A society where the family structure is of utmost importance because as the family goes, so does society. The rules of law, the rules of humanity in its most basic sense, fall away when we don't respect the family unit as an important societal structure that needs to be preserved. I mean, even from the underdeveloped environments of the most remote countries of the earth without any infrastructure that is governed by democratic electorate. The family comes first, the family structure, and then it's the individual communities. And it appears to me that on a worldwide scale, there's been an influence that has desecrated that idea and has flourished to such a degree that families have been under attack for so long that the ones that are fighting to remain solid foundation for the future generations are barely able to survive. As someone in Canada, someone who's lived a relatively privileged lifestyle, I've seen the deterioration of humanity on the whole. And I believe that it has come to a point where the people, all of us, who understand that we have a duty to our fellow man. We have a duty to our environment. We have a duty to the other living creatures. Not to exploit, to preserve, and to hold up the good. And holding up the good does not dictate having an authoritarian view on a specific few to dictate what is supposed to be good in this world. Yes, we need to preserve our environment. This is correct. But the people that are telling us how to preserve our environment are the very people who became wealthy and powerful by destroying our environment and exploiting our environment. The very people who are telling us to demolish the family structure are the very people who want to enslave the individuals who are no longer, who are to be used as a resource as opposed to a beautiful creation who has a purpose for the benefit of all of us as an individual. These ideas have been lost largely because we have lost the concept of a God. Whatever that word should not offend. That word should embolden us to understand that we, by that intrinsic knowledge that each soul that we are a body that surrounds a soul. this body that was created uniquely for a purpose, not to be exploited, not for a utilitarian purpose. This body that we occupy while we exist on this plane, which is Earth and is also a creation that was designed to accommodate not only us, but the creatures that we are to protect and make proper use of. These, we're supposed to be grateful for all creatures, all living beings. This is what my faith tradition has taught me. But the faith that I was imbued with was a gift that I was given very young in my lifetime. I can almost identify the moment that I realized that I had a special purpose that was given to me uniquely by something that was outside of myself. And a lot of so-called educated people that want to exploit their education for profit, for power, for possession, will tell you that that idea is irrational, but it isn't, because we each have a conscience, and we're being asked to set that conscience aside. And many of us are feeling something is wrong, and we can't necessarily put our finger on it. And this journey that I have taken throughout my life has inspired me to produce a commentary. I used to journal. My hands don't work the way I'd like them to anymore, so I no longer journal. My vision is somewhat compromised. As we age, we all get older, and we all physically decline. Some of us faster than others. Some of us because of things we've done to our bodies when we were in the prime of our lives. Some of us because things were done to our bodies against our will. Some of us unknowingly had things done to us. In Canadian society, many of us have been poisoned and experimented on by genetically altered foodstuffs. In the 70s, they were being introduced into our agricultural environment to such a degree that now we no longer have unaltered, ungenetically modified crops, because the genetically modified crops have overtaken pretty much anything that used to be a natural source of nutrition. And the results, in my opinion, have been catastrophic to the Canadian people who've lived multi-generations within this environment that's been sort of exploited by the government, by profiteering pharmaceutical companies, government agencies, bureaucracies, those governing sources that are now, soon going to be meeting in Davos. I think it's Davos. Is it called Davos? The World Economic Forum. Those sorts of people have been very active for many generations, and I think their time has come, so to speak, as far as creating the world that they've sort of cyclically have been modifying in one way or another throughout the history of mankind. And those of us who are not historians, those of us who have no interest in what's happened prior to our lifespan, may not be aware of how predictable our world has become to those who are history buffs and understand how there have always been those who want to rule and those who are governed, those who are enslaved, those who are meant to be tools to be used for the gain of the person or individuals who believe they have a God-given or a genetic right to be superior. Even as recently as the last century can demonstrate the last surge of diabolical kind of influence that created World War I, World War II, but also the tyranny that Africa, the continent, went through during the colonization years, North America, South America. We are all victims in many ways of this undercurrent of cyclical, diabolical, in my frame of reference, planning of those who find themselves, for one reason or another, in a powerful, influential state where they can restructure the world to be what their vision of the world is. Because in many ways, they've replaced God with themselves. And it's important that no matter how hopeless or helpless the individual who is aware of this situation feels, that they reach out and describe and do what they can to call attention to what is happening from their perspective, because they're not alone. And their understanding has given to them for a purpose, and their purpose may be to just open up a YouTube channel and say, look, it's time we start banding together and saying no to those influences that want us to fight each other, as opposed to come together and understand that there's something deeply wrong with this world, and it's not correctable by these people who are meeting next week in Davos, in Sweden. These rich and affluent infiltrates into every government structure, especially the financial system. Finance is my background, and I have a keen understanding of what money as a god will do to the human person who is fallible, when we all are. My hope is that if I can do a testimony every day, perhaps I can inspire others to reach out within their sphere of influence to stop the trajectory that these folks that believe that they have the upper hand are coming together to set us all on. And a world, truthfully, a world without a family structure, a world without rules that apply to everyone equally, is not a world that's worth saving, truthfully. But we are a world of individuals who deserve the right to exist. And I suppose that's it for today. Have a great, well, I hope it seems down. I'm a downer, I guess. Unfortunately, it's hard to feel positive, but I have hope in humanity. And I know that there are others like me who just want to love each other, just want the best for the other, as long as I can have the best for myself that I can create. God bless you all, and have a good day, and I hope to talk to you tomorrow.